everybody, and welcome to Last Minute Kickout with myself, Kevin, and I'm joined once again by Turbo. Unfortunately, Pete, Mr. Titan's Creed, has been booked on a different loop to us. He's actually guesting another promotion. How very dare. So he's not going to be joining us this particular. However, we are here, two of the Beardy Three, back to talk to you about the Royal Rumble 2020, WWE's first pay-per-view of the new decade, as well as the new year, obviously. And the road to WrestleMania has begun. Before we go any further, you'll notice the night's poster is back on my wall. That is because there is a new LMKO predictions champion. Look at him there with his nice little belt. Mr. John Taylor Philly, and I've got to say, I think this is probably the first title change where I've actually been quite glad that you've won it.
Good, because
your choices were what I would have preferred to have happened. So
luckily enough, my choices, was shall we say, granted to me on a silver platter, essentially. Okay, probably not so much after all the kind of like background news that we've been hearing from the event. But no, me and Goldie, we're now together, finally together after all these months.
But the NXT LMKO predictions belt is Turbo's belt, actually. He's just donated to the cause. That's actually a different belt, but sure. Yes, that's the more modern belt. The other one's the older one, but
semantics.
Yeah, semantics. But for the purposes of this is now to be renamed, I have been told, by the LMKO uppers as the LMKO Scottish Championship. And it'll be renamed that for about a week before they change their minds, and then just call it back what it was originally called. Don't know why they would do that. Sounds a bit weird. But yes, Royal Rumble. Possibly one of the best. It'd be interesting to see on the score front here, but possibly one of the best WWE pay-per-views we've had for some time.
Especially in the last few months, definitely.
Oh god, the last few have been absolute trash.
Oh, definitely.
So it won't be hard. And we're getting to Super Showdown again. So
are we even going to bother with that? I doubt we're going to even go.
Well, I'm going to say now that whilst we will probably cover Super Showdown, and there won't be a predictions defense there.
No.
In fact, there won't even be a predictions number one contender or anything. There just won't be. So, because it's Super Showdown and we don't want to give that show any more credence than it deserves, let's just say the predictions just got lost on a plane or something.
Lost on transfer. But with this show, my initial thoughts for it, I would say that this has been a really good Royal Rumble for this year. In an overall capacity, with the matches that were put on and the performances from the things. Granted, a couple of results. Well, it was quite after my kind of like predictions and whatnot, was quite predictable at points. And I think probably Pete would probably agree with us, because I'm sure he would probably have got most of it predictable, because the storylines leading into the Royal Rumble made it to believe the outcomes. And initially, it eventually became those outcomes, which we'll get to in a minute. But it was still back and forth, like I said at the beginning, where it was like the backstage kind of like dirt sheets were going back and forth between who's going to be winning what and stuff, that and so on. So, but in hindsight, after it was all said and done, I and quite a lot of people online were in the agreement that this was probably one of the best Royal Rumbles in a few years. So,
absolutely. I mean, also we were talking about. I mean, we'll get on to booking probably when we get to it. But I mean, and specifically, I'm talking about the men's Rumble. But when you compare it to what we had at Survivor Series, which was okay, have you actually looked up the characters of the people you're booking for this match?
Mm-hmm.
And why were the people who booked those matches apparently not involved in the build-up with what was happening in NXT and everything else? It didn't seem to make any sense.
No, it was definitely very clustered.
Whereas suddenly, it's a shock, but we always say this on LMKO, and I know I always say it. It's just that I like when things make sense, and wrestling works best when it makes sense, when there's a logical progression. Why does X person hate X person? It's or why is this person targeting this person? Or what's the decision making here to go after this title or to do a defense? Or even into the matches with the moves. And okay, why are they doing that? It's something that other people from Cornette through to Bischoff and everybody else under the sun says this. Yet it seems to be very rarely acted upon within the modern business, the modern industry. Apart from a select few individuals who do that.
Mm.
And actually, unsurprisingly, those people put on the better matches. What a shocker. So, we start off with the kickoff show. Now, did you watch the kickoff show?
I did watch. Now, I've always been saying this. I do watch the matches of the kickoff show. I just don't bother with the fluff in between. Really?
Yeah. I did initially when they started the kickoff shows.
Yeah, but now we're getting into 2-hour kickoff shows that at most has 2 matches on it.
I don't want to necessarily hear what Jerry Lawler, and that's just on commentary. So I don't want a show where 25% of the talking is going to be him during segments. And there's only so many times Booker T can laugh, shake his head, and
go sucky ducky quack quack. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just for 20 minutes at a time. Whereas who's actually hosting the things at the minute?
Oh god. Well, it's not Renee Young because she's doing other things.
Because she's having a whale of a time elsewhere.
Yeah. It's one of the other female announce team members.
I can't remember her name, sadly, which just says a lot, really.
Yeah.
Bland. Can't remember the name.
No.
And it'll probably have
the
thingamajig from the wrestling radio show on.
I
don't care what he has to say. What he normally goes on about is pretty vapid.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in WWE anyway, so he'll say whatever it is
he wants
to do. Because he's got his little gig and he's happy with it. Right, anyway, so first matchup was I didn't see it. I honestly looked at the matches and I just went, no. No,
well, I can do a little rundown there.
First up, though, the returning Celtic Warrior Sheamus took on Shorty G. And it was like Sheamus's big proper return from injury. And they started with, if I remember, I feel I did see it with Shorty G running down and shoving Sheamus over. Was that in this, or was that a SmackDown or something?
I can't mind how the start of this match started. I do
recall they had one recently.
They had an altercation. Happened. Yeah, they had an altercation where Shorty G was, kind of like went after Sheamus at one point, but I don't think that actually happened during any of their matches because they had a match on this one and then it
definitely happened. Sheamus came out first, and then as he was going down doing his bit, he got shoved over from behind by Shorty and he ran to the ring. Whether or not was this or not.
No, I don't think it was Royal Rumble because I think Royal Rumble had all of their. Because frankly, I don't think Shorty G would shove Sheamus on the ramp and just have that massive ramp way, to the ring, be a massive run and whatnot. I doubt that would be the case. Not in this Rumble match.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
the Rumble match here, it was as expected. Shorty G did get a little bit of offense here, but it was primarily Sheamus in control for the most part and dominating Shorty G. Or sorry, Chad Gable, because I keep freaking forgetting
just
that's
a reminder to anybody who's forgotten. Chad Gable is one of the best wrestlers in any promotion in the world.
Yes.
Just remind you of this fact.
Yeah, we need to remind ourselves of this fact as well, because if we forget, then God knows the world will implode. But it's like I mean, he did a couple of decent spots with Sheamus, and Sheamus can work with the the smaller guys. I mean, that's always been the case. A big guy can work well with a smaller guy, very well. And it was, simple match. Sheamus would go win. We kind of saw it coming, so
he had to. And now they're going to feud over the fact that Sheamus is big and Chad Gable is.
Yeah, and that's still ongoing as of this recording. Still ongoing.
We then went on to actually it was a decent length match. 12 and a half minutes. But, also decent length match at 14 minutes. United States title. Andrade with Zelina Vega, obviously somebody who should be matches. You just don't see her.
No. I mean, she is primarily a managerial role at the moment, so
yeah, which is she's more than competent.
Give her give her a year or two more, because look at how long it took Trish Stratus to come out of the
role as
the valet managerial role.
Working on fundamentals. Sure, Alistair keeps her busy, so it's all. But Andrade versus Humberto Carrillo. Oh dear. Explain what happened in this match.
There was a bit of action. I'll say that much. It's like it wasn't a boring match. That's what I was fearing. Because I was just not invested in the feud. That's the problem for this match. But when they got down to it, they got some really good action out of it. Pulling off some decent reversals and flips and whatnot. Heck, the ending spot, like the ending segment, was really good with the kind of like reversals and whatnot, and how Andrade was able to kind of like flip, Carrillo. Jeez, I can't even pronounce his name. That's how much I just Carrillo. Right. And it's like I can't even, bother. Yeah. But yeah, it's just the whole ending segment where it was like flipping, reversing into different multiple pins and whatnot, and it wasn't like a defined kind of like hammerlock DDT into the pin done and whatnot. No, it actually had some back and forth to it. Just with Andrade getting the win, because it was obvious, he wasn't going to be dropping that US title immediately, so fast as getting it from Ray in the first place. So,
I'm particularly interested in your take on this. I'll tell you why. Because this would be, I think, in terms of the United States title and Andrade's recent history involving it, this would probably be the first time, or the first feud that he's had for a while where he'd be calling the matches.
Yeah, it definitely seemed that way. After all of his kind of like experiences in NXT and then leading up to for the last year or so, on the main roster, and then he's been given this kind of like run to kind of like work the match and be the lead on it. No, it's evident. It is evident because with his experiences with him and Gargano in NXT, that obviously would have helped him to kind of like get himself ready in that kind of like controlling role.
Absolutely. So we know Andrade's good. Good.
He can be good.
But I mean, but you say Gargano would have called that.
Yeah.
Mysterio would have called that.
Yeah.
AJ would have called that.
Yep.
Pretty much everyone he's faced.
Yeah. Has been like the superior. Yeah.
So, if this continues, I'm just interested to see, because it can only get better from there. But it's going to give, Andrade a bit. And if he's the champ should getting the call. I think Jericho said this once. A match with. No, Brett said it in his autobiography. Him deciding that because Flair started calling the match, and he was like, "I'm the champ. I'll call the match. Thanks." Flair was like, So yeah, that's interesting, and it'd be interesting to see what Andrade does going forward.
Yeah.
This, of course, takes us to the main card. Main card 4. Which is... so we began with a Falls Count Anywhere match. And recently, when we've had those, no disqualification. WWE have sort of upped their game in terms of spectacle pieces. And this goes all the way back to last WrestleMania. Is Shane.
Yep.
The ones that they've had since, they've always had like a big high spot or a big spot outside in the audience. Same thing with Fiend and Seth.
Can't remember.
At Crown Jewel when he won the title.
Oh yes, of course.
There was the fall. There was the Rock Foley spot going through,
and then pyro,
all the electrical equipment. There's and also Braun Strowman as well. Braun Strowman when he went off and then went through stuff, and then he just he just sort of like marched out through the wall, through the wall of boxes, and everyone's like, "What? No, he just fallen like 20 foot or something stupid."
Aye.
But he's Braun Strowman at this point in time in his booking, so he can just walk off that.
Yeah.
And it kind of continued here, but in a different fashion, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So obviously the Falls Count Anywhere match being that of between Roman Reigns and King Corbin was obviously a feud that will never fucking end. This is putting it out this out here, even though I feel as though that the Royal Rumble was overall good. This was probably, to me, the weakest of the show, because of the feud of how it's been dealt with for months, or it feels months. It's only been like weeks. And we knew it was going to be overbooked with interference, with Ziggler and Rude being involved and the Usos being involved. And granted, it was all high flyer and whatnot. We had some interesting spots with the Usos and Rude and Ziggler.
Yeah, Jay, I think it was, getting a powerbomb on a metal crowd barrier, which looked painful, to say the least.
Yeah. Among other things.
A lot of good stuff. We had 5 minutes of Ziggler, but actually, about 5 minutes of that match was literally Rude Ziggler versus the Usos.
It was essentially. It was just like a side.
Yeah,
it's like a side mission.
A distraction, but actually, no, this is the match now. That was a bit odd.
Aye. But I can't mind. I can't remember how long did this match go.
Right, because thanks to the fantastic people at CageMatch.net, it lasted 21 minutes.
Way too long.
18. Yeah. You want to trim about 4 minutes off that, and then you're okay.
Because that's how bored I was with this match. It's like how plodding, and it just went. Obviously, they used everything. They went into the like international announcers area.
As that got absolutely destroyed.
Yeah,
that got absolutely wrecked. And I kind of like the fact actually that they kept sort of like Dunn or whoever it was made sure that there was like at least background audio coming through so you could hear what was being said, and it was on all the channels you sort of had just a little bit so you can hear everybody. And I was just waiting, it's like, but it was like destroying this. We're just beginning the bloody night. Come on.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to come back later in the night.
How many tables do you need to put someone through? It's like, oh, apparently everyone. Funaki was just sort of looking like, please don't take my table away. Just like,
this only table I have.
I wanted somebody. Actually, I did want Corbin to take a shot of Funaki. I did want that.
Wishful thinking, man. Wishful thinking.
Yeah, start a thing with Corbin and Funaki. That's next feud, please. Corbin, Funaki.
Oh God.
Funaki to just obliterate him one day. Get a run in from Taka Michinoku driver on somehow. The poor bastard somehow. Actually, Michinoku driver Ziggler would be doable.
Oh, he could do that.
Ziggler would sell that thing like death. Anyway, so yeah, lots going on, all manner of interference. They went literally all over the arena. I mean, they did take the concept to the extreme. They're out in the crowd. The crowd were right in it. We had a stupid spot with Portaloo.
Granted,
it
would have been worse.
The single one of those. As soon as I saw the top shot where they were looking down, and there was the pause there, I was just like, that one's on wheels. Has got an additional framework on it. Wow, I wonder what's going to happen here. But also, if you do one of those spots, unless the guy you do that, the guy comes out with blue stain on him somehow to let you know he's in.
Got blue.
He got turned. The thing got turned over. He basically just came out and was fine, and nothing happened.
Which is good. It's good. At least that was.
But
it made it easier.
Something on his arm, or so just make it say that he has been covered in something. Because apart from that, he literally just turned over, and that was it.
Well, maybe it was obviously like you can get like Portaloos that are not being used and whatnot, and doesn't have any fluids.
You still got the chemical stuff.
You never know.
It was a bit. It did nothing. The whole thing of that action is to embarrass, and effectively there was no embarrassment. Basically, he was in a box and it got turned over like that, and he didn't. Well, I do see. Fine.
Yeah, I do see the pointlessness of that. Yeah, I can totally see that. But eventually, it would finish up on one of the kind of like
the baseball dugouts. We ended up on top of, and as soon as that happened. As soon as they got there, it was like, okay, so the match is ending here.
Yeah,
because
spear,
they want it's either a spear or a Superman punch. It's probably going to be a spear. Top of the dugout. It's a fantastic shot that they sell to the press. They want to get this little sports center moment. Probably specifically, we're trying to get a sports center moment. And yes, Roman won for the 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm. As predicted.
What it was there anything else that stood out for you?
No. That's like we pretty like I said, this was a match that I just did not care too much about, and it was only those spots that I kind of like took notoriety from essentially. I just felt that this match was just overbooked and forgettable, And just like the feud in general.
Don't get us wrong, listeners/viewers, depending upon whether you're listening in on the podcast or watching the video, in which case. There was a lot of hard hits, hard bumps from both Roman and Corbin especially actually in that match. And whilst there was nothing effectively wrong with the structure, it was still it was booked a lot better in terms of layout than a lot of the ones we've had previously. It's still in that kind of, it still falls below what we had in terms of, again, that is Shane match, which was fantastic.
I was gonna say
it really was.
That's the difference between the two matches. Is that Ms. Shane was just basically them with a guest star of Mrs. Dad,
Mr. Miz,
Mr. Miz. But appearing
again on WWE TV recently.
Indeed, he was.
Speaking role.
But with with this match with Corbin and Reigns, you had 6 people involved, and that's not including the involvement of the announcers tables of of the international announcers table, and that is just way overboard. I saw that as way overboard, and I just couldn't.
You bought into Shane Miz because of the sheer personal
animosity
stakes, animosity there. Did we really have bought into Roman Reigns and Corbin as animosity?
No,
because to me it's two people playing. It's very much two people playing wrestling.
Yeah. So it's just roles that are just by the numbers, and
I know Corbin loves being this. Corbin loves saying that he's a true heel in the true heel sense. I said this in. And I get that he is. He's also bland as fuck. Still.
Yep.
And there's a big difference between I hate that guy because he's despicable character, and I hate that guy because I'm really bored by him and I don't want to see him. Big difference. Normally wears black and green and does the Bronco Buster, and that's where that is. Corbin is very dangerously straddling the X-Pac genuine heat line.
Yeah,
and has been for a very long time. It's an interesting balancing act that he's doing from a neutral's point of view. If he's doing it deliberately, fair play to him. But I don't want to see him on TV. Do something. Do something else. Anything else.
Well, at the moment, it's not looking like it. So.
Oh.
Anyway, moving on with the card. What do we have next?
Women's Royal Rumble.
Oh, that was quick. I thought.
Yeah, second match. Second match was the Women's Royal Rumble.
Wow. It's like I've totally forgot how it all kind of structured. Well, I'm trying to recall back to the Women's Royal Rumble, and
so things of note. Zelina Vega was actually in the Rumble.
Yeah, she was in it.
She's been more matches. She was literally in one, and 2 matches later. So obviously we'll get on to whoever won it, but there was a few stories going on here. We had effective debut of Mercedes Martinez as one thing. Mighty Molly was like number 3.
Oh, I love that. I love that pop. It's like having her come in for the Rumble.
If there's anybody whose rank has gone up since they've retired in terms of all the stories coming, we've said this last time but if there's anybody whose stock has risen after retiring in terms of the women's division more than Molly Holly, I don't know who else you could name.
Well,
we know that she's basically just the saint of the women's division.
Yeah.
And everybody, it seems, owes training or put somebody through wrestling school. It's ridiculous the amount of stuff that she did. And she appeared and she got offense in, which she didn't get last time, and everybody was absolutely outraged.
Mm.
Yeah, she took bumps. She actually took a nasty bump. Oh, actually, cause like a blockbuster style net breaker, and kind of cocked it up and landed all. Everyone was like, it was a bad day for the vets, actually. It was a bad day.
Yeah, some of them did have some.
Yes, we had the return of Naomi as well.
Yeah, that was a
dealing with
big surprise.
All the stuff that she's been dealing with, looking good.
One of the shining stars in the Rumble was Bianca Bel-Air.
Absolutely. She's going to be very interesting. See what she does coming up, because she's like a bit much a sort of self-made woman in terms of competitor. We said that they said that she did her own tights and everything, and all her outfit, all the stuff with the hair and whatnot. She was apparently just all her.
Yeah.
Some great offense. She was booked very well. We got to see Candice briefly do her bit. Sarah.
Yeah. That.
Please book Sarah Logan nicely.
Yeah, you're grasping at straws at that, because she has not been handled very well at all. And they've got all these women, and Sarah Logan's part of it, and they're not using them well. And
now they're going to do this
ridiculous.
other thing with
probably one of the bigger highlights for this was the story between Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose during this match, which obviously bleeds into the other story that's been happening on SmackDown, where Otis of Heavy Machinery, he gets involved.
Oh, that was so stupid.
It was. I don't know.
She's pressed.
How...
Yes. Oh yeah, she's been pressed. She's gone over the top rope. Wait, everyone's cheering. Oh, it's just randomly out of nowhere. Otis is laying down.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah.
The visual on that, where Mandy was, I think she was lying face, like, she went like boom on top. They did that nicely. In fairness, they did that nicely. Otis did very well to control it. I mean, the middle. I don't know. It's just like, because always, the perspiration was full on. And it's like,
he looks so creepy as a result.
It was. So it's like, I was like not liking the visual, but it was funny that Otis was able to be involved, keep Mandy in the match. But not once, but twice.
You're right, but twice as well. It was like twice as it was getting a bit silly. But you had that thing in like an interview in the pre-show where it was before, actually it was just before the Rumble itself, where Fire and Zaya basically had a chat about teammate, but Sonya said that ultimately if it comes down to it, I'm going to throw her over the top, and and Sonya's like, it's the Rumble.
Yeah, of course.
It's the Rumble. And then we had the situation where obviously Otis saved Mandy a second time, but then Sonya got knocked out knocked into Mandy and Otis, and that all she got knocked into Otis, and Otis tried to like hold both of them, and it was all sort of collapse,
just
and then it was all
Jenga
anger and annoyance. Dana appeared
again, another person that was just not utilized very well.
But what's the important thing is what's happening with her and Batista. Is that still a thing, or is it? That's what we're more interested in. I've not heard anything for a while.
Apparently.
That's more interesting.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But
I'm not saying who said that.
Hey Dana. How big is it?
Oh my God, we know. No.
We don't need to ask Ray the question anymore. But no, let's get to the ending of how it all led to the ending of this.
Lots going on. Well, we had Beth Phoenix come out. Well, we got Alexa Bliss was like the Iron Woman of things, I think.
Yeah.
Alexa was around for seemingly ever.
She was. I think she was like the second. Well, actually, she was Wasn't she number one?
She was one. She was number one.
Yeah. Well, she did get eliminated before Bianca Belair, because I know Bianca Belair was in the longest.
Bianca eliminated Alexa about halfway through, and then Charlotte Flair eliminated. There was lots going on in this. There was lots of team ups, sort of proper team ups.
Yeah, like Natalya and Beth Phoenix.
Natalya and Beth Phoenix made sense. And that was a hard hitting one that went and stuck through almost to the end. But obviously Beth got a wallop on the back of the big ring posts. Beth joined Cesaro in terms of getting nasty injuries.
She got
proper. But I mean,
injury on the back of her head.
She started blonde and she was a redhead at the end of it. Let's put it that way. And there was everybody who touched it ended up coming away with just Beth Phoenix blood all over it. Charlotte had blood all over her arm from Beth's head. Pretty much everybody was. And Beth looks so good in that match.
Yeah, she definitely showed dominance and leadership.
Absolutely, a driving force throughout. Charlotte was there, and then Charlotte went through the middle rope, and my heart sank.
Yeah,
that literally it was like Beth and Natalya, I think, went to eliminate Charlotte, and Charlotte went through the middle rope, and I just went, oh. Because at that point, everyone cheered, and then everybody went. And everyone, also, the crowd went, oh. Because they knew at that point who was going to win.
Yeah.
So, Charlotte came along, eliminated a bunch of people, including Bianca, and it ended up as Beth, Natalya, Charlotte Flair, and Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, who was number 3?
Shayna Baszler, which we knew was going to happen, and was a big question about whether or not Shayna was going to win it. Came close, very close. Shayna eliminated Naomi, who spent forever on the sidelines. Beth got revenge for the first Rumble by eliminating Natalya, which Natalya kind of accepted afterwards as, yeah, in fairness, I had that coming to me. Shayna eliminated Beth Phoenix after Beth almost eliminated Charlotte, and then Charlotte eliminated. Upset.
After a little back and forth where
there was a close. I did think actually there was that moment where she was like prostrate, flanking effectively the top row. I did think there's a very real danger of just Shayna Baszler just like picking up, just javelining her. And then I thought, I'd like to see.
Would have been nice.
Would have been interesting.
But no. Both myself and you thinking that we would have like a MMA four horsewomen kind of like winner at the Rumble was totally dashed, because the obvious choice, because as it was predicted by Charlotte Flair herself I think it was like the Raw beforehand, or the other Raw beforehand, where she said, "I have not won a Rumble. I'm going to win this Royal Rumble."
It's the thing I've not done.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for reminding WWE that it's the thing you've not done.
Yeah. So we gotta let her do it.
Wait, there's a gap. We need to fill that for Charlotte. But why? I'm interested to see what they're going to do now, because isn't she going after the NXT title?
Yeah, it's good.
It's looking
like it is, but whether or not it will be that is the question.
The thing that when we get round to doing Mania prediction, I think that's going to be the time they do it, because at the minute you've got Becky is a face, but she's being a bit of a heel in terms of what she's saying. Charlotte is a heel regardless of what you think. I know she's now going to be seen as the face for some reason by WWE, but in this battle, but never mind. And then you've got Sasha and Bayley, who are also heel. I think they might pull the trigger at Mania and have a face-off at least, or if there's something comes along as interference in the Charlotte match, and that brings out with the other horsewomen, and they start like doing the 4 at Charlotte as they beat the shit out of her. And then it's like, okay, what's the one thing that could unite the horsewomen again and effectively have them all on the same? Because if they're all effectively the same side of face heel anyway at that point, it's the thing that could do that. And then you basically do a double turn of both teams, because putting them together would then flip everybody face on the WWE side and flip everybody heel on the NXT side.
MMA. Yeah.
On the MMA side. So and then you've got the big WrestleMania moment of the both sides, and you've got the audience. That's going to have to be a big major thing, and then you can move that forward from there. So it ends up with WrestleMania not like being the end point, but the start point.
Kind of like
if you're
how
do it there, because there you've actually got a reason to do stuff. Yeah,
it's kind of like harking back to the triple threat triangle match at WrestleMania 2000 with the Hardys, the Dudleys, and Edge and Christian, where that was the starting point for what would be TLC at the following SummerSlam. So,
because what you're gonna do, because you're not gonna split up. So Becky is on her own, and Becky's like the thing, but she's kind of being a tweener. Sort of. They're not going to split up Banks and Bayley. There's no point in splitting up Banks and Bayley. We've proved that they'll stick together regardless of their troubles, and having a double flip or what. Having it as like an all-out assault for both sets. Would make sense. And I don't know. I'm putting cards on the table now, though, folks, as to what I think will happen.
Keep those cards close to you, because at the moment,
as long as I've not broadcasted those thoughts publicly anyway, I'm sure it'll be fine. But yeah, so anyway. What do we think of that Royal Rumble?
It was all right. I would say, well, there was also one other spot that we didn't mention.
Yeah,
and I don't think we don't need to mention it at all.
Can I just say that was treated with the contempt that it deserved from Naomi's look from that table of really.
Well, besides,
and more specifically, if there was ever a meme face. Beth Phoenix's expression of just no.
Yeah.
No.
Just no to number. Was he number 29 or 8?
He was 29.
29.
He was 29. Santina Marella made her spectacular. Former Miss WrestleMania, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Made their return. God knows what the pronoun is with with Santina. Made their return. Tried to intimidate Beth Phoenix, which didn't work. Tried to intimidate Natalya, who also was having none of this, which didn't work. Brought out the Cobra. Neither of them flinched, which I thought was really funny. Actually, it was had no reaction to Cobra at all. And then Santina Cobra'd herself and sent herself over the top rope. before Natalia rushed in and was probably going to do something absolutely terrible to him. So, I'm wondering if they knew about that. I really am curious whether or not they realised that, because Naomi's expression suggested otherwise.
Who knows? We won't know.
Yeah.
Well, we might know. Who knows? It's like some it'll probably be. But overall, the match, besides the finishes, the finish, the winner and the that spot, the Santina kind of like spot. I thought this was actually a really decent Rumble for the women this year.
It was a very good Rumble, and the Rumbles are getting better.
Yeah,
I don't think there's been a bad Rumble that they've had so far, and I think that's probably
they've
the best
just
one
been
they have had.
trying to get working around. But again, this one has its flaws and whatnot. But what Rumble doesn't really. No, let's just hope that next year's Rumble we won't have something stupid like that happen again.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to the card again. We have our first of 2 championship matches.
Yes,
3.
Well, we went on to the individual championship.
Yeah.
And we started off with the match which drew the short straw, which was a WWE SmackDown Women's Title match. Women's Rumble clocked in at 54 minutes 17.
Oh yeah.
We had 9 minutes of Bayley versus Lacey Evans. I'm sorry, I don't buy Lacey Evans as a face.
No. You
know how she's mini Charlotte. She's got the same thing as Charlotte in that you don't buy into Charlotte as a face.
But the problem
buy into Lacey as a face.
Well, here's the thing. They have tried for the last couple of weeks trying to build her up as this person who is obviously, she doesn't like bullies and she's, she wants to be a role model for her daughter. You spent the last 9 months making her a heel.
Yeah, you spent also so. And when you do that, when you have you say, "Oh, I'm a face and I believe in this and this and that," it sounds disingenuous because it is disingenuous because you've just spent so long being this horrible thing. And I understand that. Again, Crown Jewel effectively flipped her face.
Yeah.
For a night.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought we'd established, unless the Fiend title win kind of, that Crown Jewel doesn't count in terms of like WWE ongoing canon. That was what it was supposed to be. It doesn't make it was like one-off shit that didn't make any sense. And lovely that she was faced for the night and she put on a great performance with Natty in that match.
Mm-hmm.
This match was not that match.
No.
And
Sadly not.
I feel so sorry for Bayley because she's had nothing really to get her teeth into performance.
Yeah.
There's only so much anybody can do.
They tried so hard to try to encapsulate what this match was trying to encapsulate was the 30-minute Iron Woman match that Sasha Banks and Bayley had at NXT at Takeover one time. And in that one, you had some
fantastic. By the way, I remember
it was a fantastic match. It was a great match to follow up from the women's match that they had at the Takeover Brooklyn match beforehand. And in that match, you had like the animosity between Sasha Banks and Bayley. Sasha Banks being the heel, Bayley being the face, and you had the integration of Bayley's superfan. I've forgotten her name again. Who was in the crowd where Sasha Banks at one point teased her by taking the ribbon that was in her hair and whatnot, and she would make her cry, and that was the thing. And now they're trying to incorporate that using Lacey Evans' kid and trying to get Bayley to, invoke, something to try to, get her to cry and whatnot. And it just doesn't work because
Lacey's got some very interesting, real Lacey outside of character has got some very interesting ideas about in terms of how the world works. And it's like, I want to do the best for my kids. And it's like, yes, you homeschool schooling, but
no, of course not.
It's like, I teach my kids. You teach your kid when you're on the road? Are you sure about that? Not quite. This is not a Nikki Cross getting a doctorate on the road type thing, doing all the stuff. But it's not Xavier doing his additional
PhD
stuff to get his other thing. So like say Lacey's got some very interesting viewpoints of the world.
Yeah, but besides that,
Twitter is an interesting place to be. You ever seen it?
I mean, knows.
Don't. You'll question a lot of stuff about that if you do.
Mm-hmm. But besides that, the match itself was just like the work rate was just subpar, and as I predicted, Bailey was just gonna eke out a win by doing a simple counter to Lacey's moonsault and just pin her.
It was a match and a win that did nothing for Bailey and nothing for Lacey.
Yeah,
and I am of the opinion
this match was a tie.
Of that and should always do something for anybody. Because Bailey didn't even necessarily counter it, in a heel fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, she reached for the ties. Yeah, but she'd kind of already got the pin at that point based on the count. It was so
kind of pointless.
Effectively, Bailey pinned her more or less clean.
I feel as though this tied with my disdain for the last standing like the Falls Count Anywhere match. I said that was the weakest match. This kind of like ties it as probably like this, ties it for being the weakest match of it.
They didn't do anything to progress Lacey. I am all down for heel Bailey. Heel Bailey on Twitter. Conversely, heel Bailey on Twitter is hilarious. Because she screams at everybody.
Oh, so she's got the only Lorcan.
It's like every response is a yell. Is a full caps yell.
Full capitals.
Which is like, no, I did it. It's continuing like this, the delusionalness of heel Bailey, but nothing for it. Didn't advance her heelness. Didn't advance, or the thing that she's doing was she was just being the chicken shit, and just stealing all the victory. Anything?
No.
9 minutes, 9.5 minutes.
Fairly short. Yeah.
Interesting. I think it's the one match on. I was gonna say it's the one match on here that doesn't have a rating by cage match. There's only one other one. It's Roman Reigns and King Corbin that doesn't have it.
Oh. All right.
Moving on. We had the strap match. Now, when we were doing the predictions, we thought it was going to be a strap with 4 corners, didn't we?
That's what I thought as well.
And that didn't come into it.
Thank God.
Yeah, probably for the best. It was a pure strap match, which is what we ruled out because we were just assumed WWE would just shove more gimmick into it.
Yeah.
Because the last times that they've done that, whether it was Texas Bull Rope or anything else, was, but maybe, just maybe, actually.
And good for it, because this, I was really invested into this match. I really liked it. Granted, I hope that lever strap wasn't actually made with the lever of a cow, because that would be.
Can you imagine actually Brian saying that? Actually, it has to be an artificial lever. But I know because they sort of really like reined back his because they worried about sponsors and shit, weren't they?
Well, I don't think that would be the case.
No, it's been said they were worried about upsetting people who pay Vince money.
But
So,
his recent T-shirt is actually something for
yes, that
vegans and
is
whatnot.
specifically all natural.
Yeah, all right. So it's some
I think
eco-friendly
some of the money
material.
goes to the tree.
Yeah, all right. So,
Sorry, Brian, arrange.
but nevertheless, the match was really awesome. Like, the use of the strap, how they used the strap for the match where they were just like slapping each other and the Fiend. Granted, the Fiend actually had some kind of like challenge in this match where it wasn't just a simple case of like Daniel Bryan does a move and he kicks out one. No, he actually takes a little more time to kind of like fight back from Daniel Bryan's kind of like push and whatnot. But no, it's liked how the spots went, how utilized the strap inside and outside the ring. Granted, it would get to the points where it was almost like they were almost tangling up in it a bit, but no, they actually made it work, and I definitely loved the label lock with the strap as well in the Fiend's kind of like mask and whatnot. It was really good visual of that.
I disagree with you
Okay.
only slightly. In that I thought that was the first thing was because we had it round the wrist, but every time they ball it up or what have you,
Yeah.
I was kept checking their wrists. Because I honestly, both of them was like, well, wait, is he taking the strap off? Isn't that was the point of that? And of course they hadn't. But the way that they were doing it made it look like they had, which was a little bit, which I found a little bit distracting actually, because I kept checking the wrists. Like seriously, not just doing all this stuff with the strap. I found it, and this went 17 minutes, 17 and a half minutes. This match, it felt longer. I'll be honest.
You thought it felt longer?
Oh
wow!
I will say that I totally agree with you. That it was nice to see. They've reined in. They've dialed back the fling the entire moveset at the Fiend, and the Fiend kicks out at one, as you said, that we had with Seth, because that just damaged Seth to a ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with that is that it has elevated the Fiend to a point where, okay, how do you make it seem like anybody's a believable, credible threat to the Fiend? Because he can just take your top guy, and Seth is the top guy, barring anybody Lesnar, and WWE actually properly contracted people. And it's like, how do you make it credible then? And that Brian brought violence. He brought tenacity. There was some good use of the strap outside of the ring, and use of the strap inside of the ring. That said, and again, as you said, the visual with the mask. I mean, you could kind of see it coming a mile away, but with that mask, it was obviously really, really effective. It was a nasty label lock as well. Arm was in a very, very nasty position. That said, I think the whip the guy went on a bit too long.
I'll give you that.
It was a bit too much of, and I know that it was building up to the point where the Fiend was just like, it got to the point where the Fiend did his Hogan, just like. And Brian did his bit where you get to see all the welts on Brian. Back, we know that any match he's every single capillary in chest has burst. Like me with a cut shower at my nose, like every single capillary is busted, and it looks like you've been in a war and had an accident. I was a little bit disappointed that they didn't really cut anything new for the strap. That may seem a bit odd. It didn't feel like it was like, it's like, yeah, they're gonna do the pull into the ring post on the end. Yes, they're gonna do a little bit of a hang. And yes, they're gonna. This is gonna be the strap assisted.
But here's the thing. It's been a while since we've had a strap match on WWE television.
Like, everything old is new again, and I get that.
Because
that said, it would have been nice if they'd brought something else to the table for it. Because you're right, we haven't had a proper strap match in years, and if you wind it back to the Texas Bull Rope match with JBL and Eddie, probably the last time we had one that was like that with the corners and have you. That's a very long time ago.
Yeah.
But even that had a bell on it, that was like an additional weapon thing. That was a little bit of extra spice. I don't know. There's so many other things around the arena now that they could have done. It would have been interesting to see them take the strap and do. If it's unfortunate we didn't have, or rather that we had the Falls Count anywhere. Because you can imagine what they might have ended up doing. It was like some crazy shit if they'd end up in the audience or something stupid, or whatever else is around the actual ringside. Do what have you. It would have been. That's again my real major issue. They got a bit samey for a bit. In terms of the cycles of whacking, and then it eventually, just wasn't. It wasn't an original piece. When I think that both of those men could have come up with some really interesting extras.
That's fine. I mean, granted, they probably did have some original spots, but they were shot down.
Oh, you'd have thought that.
Who knows?
I know. Maybe that's considering both the wrestling party. They may have just wanted to do a very.
So onto the
Fiend one, as if you didn't guess.
Oh yeah, of course.
The Fiend one. He had a couple of 2 counts on him, which is tantamount to progression in terms of making Brian. Because when a crowd, 2 count makes a wrestler look strong.
Yeah, it was like because actually a lot of people were thinking, oh, Brian might win, actually, and that might be a good thing and whatnot. But no.
He hit the knee early as well. He hit the knee early, and then did have the quick. And my immediate fear was that not going to happen. Hey, Brian, are we going to do this to Brian as well?
No, he wouldn't be stupid enough to do it.
So actually, that's something I would have loved to have seen. Brian bring out a bit more of some of his other moveset. For that, go properly to town, because effectively it's anything.
Well, he was got busted diving headbutt. I'll tell you that.
No. That's not what I'm. Some of his other submissions, I think, might have been interesting.
I don't think he's ever gonna be using cattle mutilation.
No.
Anytime soon.
For a start, they wouldn't be as good. Cattle hugging. Cattle cuddle.
Cattle cuddling.
But there's other stuff.
It's the CC.
There's other stuff in his basket, and I think we move on from that to a match where, wait for it, the champion beat the antagonist, challenger. The defeat didn't make the challenger look bad. And both sides look strong, going in and coming out. And the challenger was Oscar.
Yeah.
Oh, Becky Lynch and Oscar. My God, they actually did a really good job in the run up to this in terms of
build
making
and all that,
Oscar look like this real threat. Becky had a big, thing that she needed to do this, and we had the missed spot in the run-up where Becky was blinded and was like in tears because she was in so much pain because the mist was all in her eyes. There's this horrible shot actually of in the video package in the run-up where like they were pouring water into Riot ringside and all the dye and the mist was coming out of her eyes. And it's like, oh my god. This was a really good match. Love this. But you're the big Oscar, so I really want to hear what you have to say.
I love this. Like between their match this year and their match last year, it's very close. Like very close in how well it was. Like between how they worked off each other because they know how to work with each other. They actually have connection. And Asuka, obviously, Becky knows that because Asuka's so good. They allowed themselves to kind of like, put it all there. And yeah, it's like at points I actually thought Asuka could have, done it, but no. And it's like they really just worked well. So I can't really explain it too well because it's like this match was good. It was really good.
Kairi Sane also is like this annoying imp that keeps popping up. Just keeps popping up and being distracting and annoying, and then just running away. I actually kind of like that. But yeah, no, Asuka got to be vicious Asuka. Becky got to be Becky. It really helped Becky start moving forward again. I think.
Yeah,
she's kind of been like treading water and going back or going back a bit the last sort of 2 or 3 months maybe. But Asuka was such a threat. Got treated like a threat, got treated seriously. Mm-hmm. He comes out of it yes, Becky won. Yes, she got the submission. But that did not make Asuka look bad.
No.
Also reminds everyone that hey, the disarmer is a big important thing because tapped out Asuka with it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but also like leading to that disarmer was Becky Lynch being able to one up Asuka on her kind of like heelish shenanigans with the mist and whatnot.
Absolutely, again, yeah, preventing the mist, yeah.
Yeah, and then just all over her face.
All over her face, and then she was blinded by her own mist. It was comeuppance, and it was a receipt for everything else. It all made logical sense.
And I love the call from who was it's
Tom?
Tom Phillips, yes. It's Tom Phillips now because they've just recently changed
everyone round again.
Yeah, Tom Phillips being it's like the debt has been paid, and it's like
there was some good commentary.
There was some really good commentary. Yeah.
Who made the call for him for the Women's Rumble? I've no idea. And he honestly took a lot away from that Rumble.
Yeah.
But that announced team, even Graves didn't annoy me that much.
No. Yeah, he was actually on fine form.
He wound his neck in a bit. But Tom Phillips was doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Tom Phillips. Yeah.
For some reason, I thought they got rid of Tom Phillips as well. Wouldn't surprise me. They could get rid of everybody.
He was gone.
He was gone for a bit, but they brought back. Byron
like he was on
SmackDown
before, and then when they did the new draft and whatnot, Tom Phillips was taken off of SmackDown and replaced with Michael Cole, and then he went off to NXT UK, which was
just sort of doing the rounds, isn't he?
And then he came back to Raw. So
who knows? Maybe they are legitimately seeing Tom Phillips as the next.
Tom Phillips is a good. He's
the person to take over from Cole. Maybe he's properly being groomed for that now.
Possibly.
You'd have thought that Cole might have actually said something. I mean, he would have had to have had Vince talking to say it, but as we know, Michael Cole.
He's been there too long.
He's been there. had a man yelling in his ear for about 30 years.
Anyway.
But yeah, very good. Very good. Becky's comments after that, subsequently, this sort of alludes to what I was saying about sort of coming over more as a heel. If they're saying that, I don't have to do this anymore, I'm just going to do stuff for me, and I don't have to do stuff for you anymore. Audience, it was like, you guys wanted this. I wanted this, and you guys wanted this. I'm going to do stuff for me. Something along those lines. Bit like, you actually straight trying to turn heel here, because that doesn't come across very well.
But it's not working because people, the crowd's still cheering for her. So
this is why I don't think they're gonna succeed in what they're trying to do, certainly. But never mind. Moving along. Oh, by the way, going back to the Fiend match. I maintain that the Fiend Championship is the worst.
I can agree.
The worst custom wrestler belt. Custom belt for wrestler we have potentially ever had. It looks freaking hideous. And I know it's supposed to look hideous, but it just looks stupid. And when you compare that lovely custom belt that was made for Bray, by that company with the like the alligator skin, it was all like swampy design for Bray as like a custom thing as a gift. But that just looks so. It's just the Fiend's blood. It's the Fiend's face and some leather. Yeah,
I know. It sucks.
Cast off the testing process of the anyway, and that will cost you several $100, everybody, if you really want one.
$100? I think you mean a couple of thousand.
Yeah, because this is what I immediately thought when it's like, oh yeah, WWE are having this share price drop. So don't worry, all you need to do is just put out a couple of more pieces of limited edition Fiend merch. One of 500, which will cost you an arm and a leg and remortgage your house. Just put a couple of those, and they'll be fine again. They'll be absolutely
they'll
fine.
Sell.
That's fine. Just keep doing that. Mercy the Buzzard box now, is it?
Oh
God.
Whatever.
Yeah, Mercy the Buzzard puppet, and a load of other nonsense. Anyway, this took us to possibly best Royal Rumble in. I struggle to think of a better booked Rumble within the last 10 to 15 years.
And
because it's been bad Rumbles.
Yeah, and I was worried about this Rumble because of how it started, or it was booked to start in the first place, with Lesnar being at number 1. And I thought it was just going to be the Lesnar show. Lesnar.
They teased doing it, and the end result was arguably hurting some people, but at the same time you could argue it's Brock Lesnar, so all Brock Lesnar having to do is throw one person at a time over a top rope.
With the odd occasion of
it's pretty easy for Lesnar. One-on-one, and I like the fact that they kept it as one-on-one for so long, because at that point,
and then you had little segments,
little segments of people getting their own little time in interesting ways. Let's go through. So Brock came out number 1. Before we get started, in terms of the booking of the Rumble, interestingly, Shane was involved.
Yeah,
and I found that the most interesting thing, that Shane was visiting, and then for some reason Shane was helping book the Rumble, and apparently he was there to provide some proper cohesion and flow to it. He specifically said to flow, and if that was the case, well done, because this thing flowed like smooth as silk. This Rumble, there was nothing. There was no downtime segments. I thought.
Yeah, it was a perfect 2-act structure.
Yeah, absolutely. And it kept you riveted throughout. And when was the last time we had a Rumble like that? That doesn't break down for 3 minutes while two people punch each other and everyone else is down on the ground.
Yeah,
I can happening
because even though we had like good outcomes in previous Rumbles, like Shinsuke Nakamura winning the Rumble at one point, and well, yeah, that was pretty much the only good outcome. Was that because you had like Seth Rollins winning the Rumble one year, Randy Orton winning the Rumble one year, and what's that? And those Rumble matches weren't that great. No, this one had a good beginning, middle, and end throughout.
So Elias came out, number 2, did his little song and insulted Paul Heyman.
And also be very self-referential as well.
Yeah, he was a bit self-referential. Insulted Paul. It was like, he insulted Brock, and Brock was sort of laughed off. Then he insulted Paul Heyman.
Oh, yeah.
And Brock was
like,
excuse me? And then he insulted Heyman again. And at that point, whoa, the beast was unleashed. Brock raced out of the ring and proceeded to beat the living hell out of Elias.
As he
hit him with the wrong side of the guitar. As well.
Oh, I didn't know it was the wrong side.
He hit him.
Hit with strings first.
Hit him string side.
Oh god!
He didn't hit with the back for the explosion. He hit him with the hard bit.
Ow!
Ow!
I'm surprised. Elias didn't have lacerations.
Yeah, I was actually because he's Brock, so he doesn't exactly hit softly.
No.
So Elias. See you bye. Third was Eric Rowan with his mystery cage.
Bye.
Robert Roode. Bye. John Morrison.
Great entrance.
Welcome back to WWE. Bye. Morrison didn't get much of it. It'd be nice to see Morrison get a little bit more offense because he's someone kind of.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio came out, and it was like the first time we had sort of people lasting a little bit, because Rey lasted a little bit.
Yeah, and then
Kofi came out, I think.
Yeah, it was Kofi for
Kofi, then Big
E, and then they were working together.
And then all three of them were together. And that made sense. And all of a sudden, it's like everyone was like, okay, well, now we've got people moving along, what have you. And then Brock killed Rey Mysterio. Rey landed nasty.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looked like he killed Rey, and it made sense. Big E. Okay, so there was if you go to WWE's YouTube channel, they had a video where they watched along a couple of Rumbles back, I think it was.
All right, yeah.
And it starts off with Kofi and Big E.
Oh yes. This was last year's Rumble, I think.
Yeah, so everybody was basically Mystery Science Theatering it for themselves and going through. And it was so good because after the New Day got eliminated, they got really salty on the commentary.
Yeah, it's like, totally wasted our time.
Why? He's like, why are we here? You're wasting our time. And he's just like, Big E made the point. He's been around for 15 years or something. He's never eliminated anybody from the Rumble. Big E has never eliminated anybody from the Rumble. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Anyway, Big E got to have a bit of a proper, test of strength thing with Brock briefly.
Yeah.
And this is the one thing that saddened me immensely, actually, because we got that with Big E. Why the fuck did we not get, finally, Lashley in this Rumble so we could have a Lashley and Brock?
Oh, yeah.
Why the fuck did we not book Lashley for this?
I don't know, but
everybody's waiting. It would be a nice little bit in the middle of it, and to actually have them go at it, and then you could have started something there and have Lashley do something, and have Lashley be a threat. Lashley is deemed a threat in the minds of the fans to Brock because he's negative Brock, basically.
Well, blame the current storyline, because the current storyline made it the problem for this Rumble for Lashley, because they actually mentioned it in commentary where because of the unseen confrontation between Lashley and Rusev, they've been, they can't compete in the Royal Rumble, so blah 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 blah, and that was obviously a BS reason to try not to have that storyline involved in the Rumble.
Like, come on, you missed the opportunity there. On a day that Brock's working, In fairness, he's been doing a lot more dates recently. Experiences.
Yeah.
He's getting back into it. I think he's starting because I think he's just really enjoying stuff at the minute.
I don't know. It's like it's just well. Granted, he's not wrestling every night, so that's a good thing.
Big E was dumped. Kofi was then dumped on top of Big E. No big save for Kofi this year, and that in itself was a proper sign that Brock means business. Like, wait, we don't get the Kofi save this year? Okay, well, maybe this is going to happen. So, disappointment that there wasn't a Kofi miracle. But at the same time, that actually played in well with the story.
Yeah.
Then we had Cesaro came out, and the crowd as well went, oh, all right then. See this go.
Yeah. And we were hoping something good would come out of this, but
Cesaro didn't last long.
No.
But the fact of the matter was that Cesaro was the first person, the first individual to properly rock Lesnar. And that was a thing. And also there was a little bit that obviously Cesaro, former Paul Heyman guy, a bit of an additional story there, I guess, underneath.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cesaro coming out, uppercutting the crap out of Brock, taking it stiff, taking what Brock could dish at because he's bloody Cesaro. Cesaro landed pretty nastily too, actually. But the crowd, it just says a lot about Cesaro. As no matter what Cesaro's doing, the audience knows who Cesaro is. Cesaro came out and it's gonna be short, but it's gonna be tasty, and that's exactly what it was. Shelton came out. The next one, Shelton Benjamin came out, and we got acknowledgement of the fact that these guys came up together.
Yeah.
And he's like legitimately pleased to see it. Shaking a Paul Heyman's hand, got in the ring. He's like, we're gonna do this fine. Have a bit of a hug. Good to see you, buddy. I mean, stupid. Shelton looks stupid.
Yeah.
Extremely gullible. But at the same time, you can kind of understand what it was. Because Brock went into actually friendly Brock mode.
Yeah.
And it was fine. But Shinsuke came out next after Shelton got laughed at by Paul Brock. Brock was like, whatever.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman was like, you're stupid. But it was nice to have a little mini reunion.
Yeah.
Shinsuke came out, got a few kicks in. Again, was one who sort of was allowed to rock Brock a little bit.
Yeah.
He didn't last long either, and didn't good as Cesaro, sadly. Then we went from Happy Brock to Dancing Brock because Montavious Porter, MVP, came out. Fresh from the streets of Wakanda with his Black Panther gear, and ready to interview for a backstage position at WWE. He returned with a surprise that was completely spoiled by WWE testing MVP's graphic on the screens when people were around.
I didn't see that. So
that was completely spoilt, sadly. But Brock going up, Brock recognizing MVP, and then just as MVP, Brock dancing along to his music. Brock has having a whale of a time.
Oh, he was.
This
He
Rumble.
definitely was.
He really, really was. And he was selling in the right... Again, Brock and selling. I've said this before. When Brock sells, he sells really, really well. And he sells at the right places for his character to sell. Anyway, dispense with MVP in relatively short fashion. But just to see the really happy dancing Brock back for the first time since Money in the Bank and the Boombox briefcase.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Boombox briefcase. We miss you. But that led in to our Big Hoss section.
Yes.
Because out came Keith.
And it was like, ooh, big boy.
To quote Brock Lesnar, who's this motherfucker? But Brock's reaction to Keith Lee coming out. Ooh. I don't know. It's very good. I don't know who you are. You're big and impressive. Let's see what you can do. And just he immediately went to Heyman. Apart from asking that question, obviously, immediately went to Heyman. Wanted to know stuff about who this guy is, which is a very nice thing for the advocate manager style. He wanted information immediately. That made sense. And Keith Lee got to look like an absolute.
Oh yeah,
continuing the Survivor Series push. I remember that one thing they got right in that damn match.
Yeah,
was Keith Lee, and yeah, he got to properly toss Brock around and throw hands with Brock. Brock sold like. Brock went into Ziggler mode.
Yeah, he was bumping well for Keith for the segment.
And this is the way, in terms of making somebody a start in the Rumble without them winning or even getting elimination.
Yeah,
make somebody an absolute star. Now Brock's got somebody to really worry about. Somebody else to worry about. That's a story for another day. A lot of extra respect for Keith Lee. A lot of more people who are aware of Keith Lee. Probably a lot more so than they were in Survivor Series. And it's good to see that done right.
Yeah. Oh, so you're putting this quite well and correct on this. This is what I would be saying as well.
Do you remember who's next?
Braun Strowman joined the party. He was obviously just coming in, and of course silly Hossman obviously wanting to like, I'm big. No, I'm big. All right, let's find out. And they go at each other, and then Brock takes advantage of it.
There was the back to back shoulder bump.
Yeah.
But Braun obviously went straight for Brock because we know they've got history.
Yeah, they got history.
As soon as Braun hit the ring, I don't know about you, but I was checking those. I was just like,
because of a couple of years ago, of course.
Like, how heavy are they going to hit each other? Because we know they respect each other on that level. Because everyone following the correction that Brock had to. Still one of the most vicious hits I've ever seen a man take. And he was standing. His entire skull seemed to dislocate. But lots going on. And as you say, get distracted, get tied up in the ropes. Brock comes over, double eliminate. Thus, the story of Brock continues. Next up, Ricochet. And the initial thought everybody was, well,
he's dead.
He dead. He's gonna be Scotty 2 Hotty levels of dead. This guy.
Yeah, close to it. Although he did have some confidence. He was running down that ramp
he's
quite
Ricochet.
well.
Ricochet.
Of course. And he, doing that springboard right in there. At least Brock didn't, totally finish him off quickly, because he was going to be a key part of what was going to be next.
And something that continued our sort of long line of, again, logic and actual continuity with Brock Lesnar. Mm-hmm. Then comes our guy, Mr. McIntyre.
Mr. McIntyre
pick as well, wasn't he? It was your pick for the Rumble.
It was my pick. Although, granted, he wasn't my numbered pick, because both of our numbered picks didn't win.
This is true.
Yeah.
But you're a bit blurry at the minute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There you go. You raised your hands and the camera obeyed. That was impressive.
Obey with me.
Have you got like Undertaker powers, but with camera focus? That's impressive. But tell the folks what happened next.
Yes. So Drew McIntyre, he waltzed his way down to the ring, with confidence and swagger, keeping his eyes dead set on Brock Lesnar. He's obviously keeping his eyes on Drew McIntyre as he's coming in. And surprise! Ricochet with the uppercut of justice to the balls of the beast.
His 1 weak spot. Now we know why his trunks are always black. It's to keep the glow from the weak spot hidden. We continue this thing where Brock's one weakness is getting kicked in the balls.
Or, well, in this case, low blow.
Or hitting the balls. Taker found it for us, and we continue to utilise it.
Yeah, but no, it was just that one distraction of that low blow gave Drew McIntyre the opportunity to just claymore the hell Brock Lesnar out of that Rumble. It was a sweet sell from Brock Lesnar.
Absolutely.
It was the best sell he's ever made to.
Because he was absolutely staggered by the fact that it had happened.
Yeah.
Again, it was sort of Taker Maven levels of what?
Yeah.
What?
Aye. But unlike Taker Maven,
he was looking around like he didn't believe this was reality.
Yeah.
And then some of the crowd started going, "Hey, no,
but yeah."
And he just sort of went, "Talking to me? No, this is. Oh, I am still in the ring." But actually, one thing that McIntyre did to really up the thing, you mentioned about his eyes being locked,
direct
locked on. When he got in the ring, he was jarring with Brock a lot, and he sort of told him, he stood up to him and said, "Go on, Brock, it's finally like you and me.
Mm-hmm.
Show me what you've got.
Mm-hmm.
See what we got. Give me your best." And Brock went into immediate.
He got his gloves
kind of happy-go-lucky Brock to all business Brock. The gloves came off, and that's led to the uppercut. It's like the same thing that Taker 3 times about 5 minutes, but it's what Taker did as well. Was like, okay, and the proper gloves come off. Now we really mean business. But, yeah. And the fact that Brock stayed at ringside for a long time, didn't he?
Yeah, and then during that time, obviously Ricochet tried to take advantage of the situation, but
foolish Ricochet.
Drew McIntyre was able to catch that, and then he got eliminated and just went straight back to looking dead in the eyes at Brock Lesnar as he was still there,
daring him to do something.
Yeah,
daring him to. You want to try and take this from me? You want to try and take this from me? Interfere? Go on. Right, kept going back, and I loved that. And kept going back, and didn't forget he was there.
Yeah, and it was that point where I had faith that if they gave Drew this massive push of giving him the elimination of Brock Lesnar, I had the feeling that he was going to go all the way, and I was just hoping and praying that was the case and whatnot. And we would learn as we go into the second half of this of the what could we say? What the second half was? The reclamation.
Yes, the Mr. Phoenix saga. We're not talking about Pete here. We're talking about. Oh, so anyway, other people came out. McIntyre would eliminate the Miz in short. Thanks for coming.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Back.
Well, he needed to get the same screen time as Morrison did,
yeah, absolutely. So. And we had AJ, but we also had the return of Edge.
Oh,
he's finally done it. 9 years.
Yeah,
9 years.
Coming up to 9 years in April.
Again, one of those ones where there's so many dream matches you can have with Edge in the current roster. I love the fact that we had when he eventually came out, we had Roman and Edge going at it with like spear versus
dual
spear,
spears,
and he's like, Edge is the proper spear.
Yeah.
Somebody who probably wishes he wasn't back was AJ Styles, because AJ effectively oversold the spear and hurt himself.
Yeah. Although like that whole return was like, just perfect. However, as per kind of like production values at times at WWE, they missed the first spear.
They missed the first spear. They also lost Edge on his entrance.
A wee bit, yeah.
Edge did his thing
Where's he gone? Yeah, he went both sides.
So Edge appeared for like half a second, and then he went back, cut to the ring, cut back, and Edge had gone because Edge had run off to the side.
Because the amount of cuts for that segment alone was just ridiculous. Like they were going, it's like they were cutting to the ramp, then they cut to the ring, then they cut to the stands, then they cut to the wide shot of the wide angle of the.
And they cut back to Roman Reigns when AJ was debuting. They cut back to whatever. I'll tell you what, never ever has Metalingus, the word of Metalingus,
have been echoing in the mind.
So perfect that moment.
Yeah.
But Edge was posing and words of Metalingus.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, then we had the typical hitters. We had like
well, it screwed something up. It screwed something up. AJ getting injured like that. I think AJ was supposed to get to Final Four again.
Do you think he was supposed to get
I think he was supposed to get to Final Four because he sort of ended up getting eliminated before the OC.
Yeah.
Properly came in. And it was, funnily enough, it was AJ. They called an audible, and AJ said that Edge should eliminate him. So, which makes sense because AJ knew he was injured, and then it could lead to something else in the future, and he made sure that it was Edge. Smart on AJ's point. I think AJ was supposed to get, or at least there was going to be something. Where maybe like Drew eliminated all the OC, and then you've got something for Drew to get his teeth into, which then would make sense with the stuff that they did on Raw, following with the OC. You know, it was it was probably something like that. Corbin came out as well. Matt Riddle came out, and
again another misuse of him.
They kept him away. They kept him away from Brock, and that was
and with all the backstage
discussions have been had, and Heat apparently is there, so allegedly.
Although if it's anything like the Goldberg situation where they actually had that on camera and it really didn't end up to much and whatnot, it's like I think it is pointless.
So Corbin eliminated Matt Riddle, and it was a good elimination for Corbin. It made sense. Corbin's like, step back. I actually really love that because like what a dick.
Of course, that's
the frustrating thing about Corbin.
Yeah.
Because as a character,
he can have his moments where he being a proper heel.
But when it comes to being an absolute proper prick. He's a natural at it because he's an absolute prick. I know he's loved backstage by everybody. What an arsehole. Then Drew would eliminate Corbin in the quick fashion too.
I forgot to mention, because Brock was in that match for that first half and whatnot, he now ties the most amount of eliminations.
He's tied as the amount of people, isn't he?
Yeah.
Also, that's probably hasn't put Ray up on terms of, because Ray is normally in for ages, and Ray's pretty high up on the all-time list of Rumble
for the typical Royal Rumble. But
and I think Miz is pretty high up as well. And they gave a probably like a top 10 list, or somebody did like a top 10 list, and there's some really interesting names in it. I mean, we know Jericho's in there obviously, and Ray and Trips is in there. But it's actually a lot of people that you wouldn't think. Like Cody's in there, like number 5 or 6 or something, like all time Rumble for length of actually being there. And it wasn't that many. I mean, Kane wasn't actually that high, if he was in there at all. In terms,
even though he's made the most amount of appearances.
Yeah, but in terms of actual time, no. Well, we've checked. I might check it out after. Actually, just double see. But yeah, it's very interesting. Edge eliminated Gallows,
who entered everything.
Orton came in, and we had
United RKO.
That was a lovely moment, actually.
Yeah, it was like, hey, you worked out.
Wow, you're ripped. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know. It's like I don't treat myself with ice cream there.
Absolutely. So Edge eliminated Gallows, Orton eliminated Carl Anderson. They did like a double RKO spot. They did some really nice. Actually, the double RKO I thought was quite sweet. But I was kind of concerned about the way Edge landed on that.
But you had
so basically rated RKO got rid of the OC. Roman appeared. Wild Roman appeared. Wasn't a shine.
No.
He hoyed Dolph, I think, out of the ring. It's Dolph, so he didn't land. Dolph didn't, go out in a whimper. It was Dolph. But Aleister Black was in, and he got eliminated. This is the point in the match where Seth Rollins appeared with his goons.
Hard goons.
Akam, Buddy Murphy, and Razor, and they kind of took over the Rumble for a little bit, which allowed Seth to eliminate Aleister Black, Kevin Owens, and Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, another one who appeared, and everyone just went, well, let's go. Actually, that would have been the only other thing that could have made that section with Braun and Keith Lee.
Oh, it's just to have
Can you imagine
Joe
if the next one out was Joe? Could you imagine?
Oh my god.
Beef! Oh my god. The violence. The absolute violence. So Seth and his goons eliminate everybody. However, our hero and savior, and I'm not talking about Raw Messiah over the CrossFit asshole, Seth Rollins, was then eliminated by Drew for another big pop.
Yep. After a good spot of him trying to, say, hey, we're obviously goes to Roman Reigns first, and he's like, hey, we're Shield Brothers, right? We're Shield Brothers, right? Yeah. Is that Superman punch, and then spear by Edge,
absolutely,
and then Claymore by Drew,
everybody got their licks in.
Yeah.
Next up, after teaming up for some time in the Rumble, there was a good camera work here. Orton and Edge turn around.
Oh yeah.
Orton got that look in his eye. It was a really nice camera angle. And then turned around and caught him.
Yeah.
And Randy sort of just went, well, and they just sort of went, yeah, fair play. And then husband and wife, no, the same thing. And the call in the commentary was, strike the Viper before he strikes you.
Well, Michael Cole was on ball.
Yeah, he was on the ball. There were some really good Cole calls in Rumble as well. I love the commentary on. Everything meant something. Everyone was put over really properly. So it wasn't just the performances. It was the performances in the booth as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, Edge hoyed out Orton. Which means our final four were. Oh, that was our final four, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was I.
There was Roman, Edge, and Drew. And I called it. I told you they had Roman Reigns in so Roman Reigns can come second.
Of course they had to have him like second or like
He's
basically
in more Rumbles than I think anybody in history.
Yeah, it's like it's ridiculous. It's almost as bad as like
Big Show. Big Show's the other one. He's been second in like a half dozen, and Trips too probably.
Yeah, close in the same kind of like vein as well. It's like but I was more because I watched a lot of OSW review. They actually pointed this out on OSW review at one point in 1 year of the Rumble, where it's like I'm not gonna obviously use the same terminology as they do because obviously it's a lot more vulgar. But no, it's like they put it in relation to Hogan back in the Hulkamania era where even though someone else won other than Hogan made it about him. Essentially, like when Randy Savage won the title.
Randy Savage won the title.
And Hogan came in to celebrate it for him.
And when Ric Flair won the Rumble.
Yeah, and Hogan, involved in that. But granted, obviously Roman Reigns is not doing that on purpose. He's just been booked into the situation where he's the runner-up.
But there is still that little thing with WWE that somebody won, but it's more like but it's also Roman Reigns' law.
Yes.
And there's a bit of a habit in that, especially if you keep putting Roman Reigns as the second person, as the runner-up in the Rumble.
second the last person.
You'll keep doing that.
Yeah.
He must be, in terms of wins and seconds, like country mile ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's got about 5 out of the 6.
Maybe Stone Cold, because Stone Cold's got the 3 wins, and he was also second once when Vince won it.
Yeah, possibly.
I'm pretty certain he came second another time as well. Saying that.
It might have been another Rumble where Triple H won it, maybe. I'm not 100% sure.
Trips has won the Rumble twice?
No, once. He's only won it once. Triple H won it once.
When he came back.
Oh, actually, yeah, you're right. Because he won
injury, and then he won it when he came out 30, didn't he?
Yeah, and he won the title.
And he was one of the ones who
title was on the line. Yeah, well, although on that one, Dean Ambrose was the last one. In that
okay.
But it was close. It was again.
No, he's been redacted. He's been redacted. There was no Dean Ambrose. Stevie Richards. You know, as you all know, anybody we redact from anything is Stevie Richards.
Yeah.
With a fantastic career.
Been in the main event of WrestleMania 20.
Absolutely. Yeah. I remember that well.
Yeah. I was there.
How is he not in the Hall of Fame?
I know. With an illustrious career. So.
Absolutely, yeah, amazing. Still going.
Yeah.
I swear, you know what? Vacant and abeyance, the only person they fear is Richard.
But no.
Anyway, so Drew won. Drew won.
What a win.
We thought it was going to be last year. Everybody thought it was going to be last year. And it looks like they're going to pull the trigger on Drew McIntyre. And I mean, the guy's big, he's athletic, he's hitting, he can take a licking. He's a really good talker, miles better than what it was. There's a heck of a story they've got going there in terms of this guy was the chosen one, he came away.
And it's another first kind of like story as well, because this will be the first UK kind of like winner
world
of the
champion,
Rumble,
in terms
because
of singles world champion.
yeah, and
Finally,
singles world champion as well.
if they do it,
yeah,
because what's the betting? Vince changes his mind.
I hope to God he does. I hope to God he doesn't change his mind and actually makes Drew the champion at WrestleMania. Because
absolutely, it'd be amazing.
It would be a great. It goes to one of the interviews that Drew had for, I think, for BT Sport, where he basically said, "Oh, if I don't win the title at WrestleMania, there's gonna be a riot. It's like it'll be a Glaswegian riot." And it's like, damn right that will actually happen, because there will be a lot of people traveling from Scotland.
It's not
to the
it's
Rumble,
not like there isn't a big
WrestleMania.
UK contingent at Mania and Raw after Mania anyway.
Yeah. So
in fact, I'm pretty certain about a third of the people at Raw after Mania are from the UK. So it's not like, it's gonna be an interesting one, Raw after Mania, if he. But. And speaking of Raw, obviously came out at Raw, and I love the fact that let's just remind ourselves that he had to point at a screen because we didn't have the WrestleMania sign up.
Yeah, they didn't have it up. Yeah, I don't know why.
The one time, and you got to point.
No, this happened last year as well.
Oh, was it? Oh yeah.
Yeah, last year it was an LED screen.
At least at the Raw after, we got to be able to point at a sign. That was nice.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that he came out, and again, this great proper building of the story.
Yep.
In that he was the one person who properly came out, stood up to Brock, said, give me your best shot. Have you? Didn't really get to show it either. I mean, he claybored him, and it was beaut, but that was all he actually did.
Yeah, that's just a prelude.
Yeah, just a little appetizer, little taste of what's to come. But the attitude was the same. He said, "I'm not." A lot of people like to play little bits of games to who they're going to decide. Not, I choose you, Brock. I choose you.
Yep.
And you're Onyx. Paul Heyman's an Onyx. Everybody, it's his canon.
Really? I thought he was a Snorlax.
But with how busy that man is, with his free mobile phones and everything else that he does. No, he's not Snorlax. Whatever the equivalent of the busiest Pokemon. I love the fact that they did that, and Brock immediately came on the attack, like first opportunity, which Brock would not do unless Brock saw him as a threat.
Yeah.
That's a nice little thing. It's like Brock doesn't just turn up and attack you.
Yep.
And this guy's a threat.
Mm-hmm.
And you know as well as I do, that Mania match is going to be stiff as...
Damn right. I can't wait.
Because Drew will not have it any other way.
Nope.
Brock will be like,
all right.
Oh, I think Brock's. We've got a motivated Brock. We've got a motivated Randy at the minute, which is astonishing. I don't know how this has happened. We've got both a motivated Brock and a motivated Randy.
The planets are aligning.
Exactly. Isn't this the point where like the powers of Grayskull are supposed to be up for grabs or something? If I remember rightly. But it's going to be happening, and those two are going to have lots of fun. Drew and Paul are going to have a lot of fun on the mic. Oh my goodness, that match. Probably going to... It would not surprise me if it's like the hardest hitting match. In fairness, that's not a high bar to cross, probably.
No.
But I rather suspect it's going to be absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
And Drew's going to lose 2 of his teeth. And
I hope not.
Brock's going to be bleeding like a stuffed pig, because Brock's going to end up doing his ring post spot.
Oh yeah.
Brock's not bled
He's
for a
got to
while.
hit it hard way.
Brock's not bled for a while.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's going to be an absolute bloodbath. The referee's going to be Vince is going to be in the back going, "Oh my god!"
It's like, no.
If the gloves are not if the rubber gloves are not on the ref by minute 3,
Start panicking.
you remember that when Vince and Taker, back to Taker again. I don't know why. I'm so sorry, everybody. When Vince fought Taker, and Vince thought he had God on his side, after beating him. And he was like, and I can't remember what it was about. I think it was just doing the Steph stuff, and he fought, and Vince came out thinking he was completely untouchable for some reason. He was deluded into believing that God was protecting him.
Yeah,
opposed to him being God.
Mm-hmm.
And Taker, he's just sort of having a nice little chat with Taker, and then he asks, "How's your wife?" And Taker just right-handed him and just split Vince's eyebrow open, and he was just like, "Whoa!" Immediately, it's gonna be that. It's gonna be that. So, important things. Pete, what's your score? That's really good, Pete. Well, that's a good one. If you're watching the video, I'll try and get the score to appear on screen what it actually is. Or there. And that's Pete's score. And I think we can honestly agree that he's an idiot and doesn't know what he's talking about. Somebody who does know what they're talking about is Mr. Turbo. Give me your summary of...
Yeah. So I feel so that obviously the weakest matches I saw were the Falls Count Anywhere and the SmackDown Women's title match. But overall, this was a very solid Royal Rumble this year, and I actually did enjoy, especially the main event Rumble of the Men's Rumble. That was a main event caliber Rumble, and really high in the kind of like Rumble standings of like entertaining Rumbles, and of course, an amazing win for Drew McIntyre as well. My overall score, I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. Solid 8.
From my side, as we look down the card, I was going to give it an 8. Because based on my own sort of scoring of how I go things as to whether or not a match is, I said this before, he gets a 0, a 1, or a 2.
Yeah. I think I because of what I've heard you talking about, I got an idea of what you might be giving it.
Yeah. So I was going to give it an 8. But because, like I say, there's... So Reigns and Corbin was what it was. Anything necessarily bad about it, but we've seen better. Women's Rumble, really, really good. A lot of stories going on. Ending is what it is. Bayley and Lacey didn't do anybody any favours. Dean Daniel was very, very good. Very good. Would have liked to have seen more done. Becky Oscar was match of the night, as far as I was concerned. We'll happily watch that again. Probably will watch that again. And the Rumble was the best Rumble that we've had in quite some time. Certainly the only one I can remember with having such a consistent flow of action throughout, non-stop, everything going. Lots of people. Feuds started. Lots of feuds continued. Cohesion in terms of multiple stories going on.
Big returns, all that jazz.
Big returns. Made sense. Best, but considering how arse they've booked Rumbles in the last decade or so, amazing. However, in discussion with you, good sir. I honestly think this is the WWE pay-per-view, not with the prefix NXT, that I've had the most fun remembering. And I can a lot of WWE's pay-per-views, when we do this stuff, I kind of struggle to remember some of the details because a lot of it is very cookie cutter. A lot of it is kind of disappointing. The scores for the last WWE awful from all of us.
Yeah.
This is honestly the most fun I've had and the most entertainment I've had WWE pay-per-view in quite some time. And the fact that that's still with me, the fact that, you know, I'm remembering all this stuff now, it's 2 weeks plus after the event, I'm actually going to make it 8.5.
Oh,
I wouldn't do normally, but the fact of the matter was, even in hindsight, the year 2020, I think it's important to recognise that for what it was, which is the best Royal Rumble in terms of the men that we've memory of certainly this particular. And that match and the Oscar match, as opposed to other matches, you know, sort of pushes the value of the card down. Those two matches in particular, and I'll chuck in the Women's Rumble as well, but specifically Becky Oscar and the Men's Rumble, pulled the entire card up in terms of quality. So I'm going to recognise that. It's 8.5.
Cool. I feel that is only fair based on your kind of like observations.
So that's it from us. Check out our combined Twitter at Faces in Peril. It's been kind of quiet recently, but because we've been busy doing other things. But that's what you get for Last Minute Kick Out. Last Minute Continue, the website is actually currently down because yours truly is completely overhauling absolutely everything about it. And they're probably down for a little while, but do follow our Twitter there at Last Minute. You can follow me on Twitter personally at the Kevin Eva. There's all sorts of stuff in terms of the various other socials, which is Last Minute Continue. My good friend, Mr. John Turbo Finney, where could you be found?
Of course, you can find me on Twitter at TurboXLR, as well as on Instagram with the same @ tag as well. And of course, if you want to see me play some games on the Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturday evenings at 7 p.m. UK time, you can follow me www.twitch.tv/TurboDriveLive.
Peace out, everybody. See you later.
Bye-bye.